Hello again, everyone. Alex Warner and Nick Schmidt. We've moved across Broadway here after talking to Amber Garrett, the Executive Director of Main Street Greenville. And we're going to start talking about the shops and stores of the downtown Greenville area. And we're going to start right away here. We're number one on the list. And this is Kirsten Berghoff. And Kirsten's the manager here at the Hallmark card shop beside the commissioner's office. Kirsten, let's talk a little bit. How long have you been involved with Hallmark? And let's talk a little bit about the store itself and the ownership.
I've been involved with Hallmark. This September will be 10 years. We opened the doors. I started from the ground up with the remodel of the shop to set and displays and going from there with everything.
So you've been here 10 years, but I always think of this having been a card shop prior to this. Do you know anything about what this was before you came in with Hallmark?
It was, Alex. It was the card shop. Dick Lentz owned it. Okay. He retired. It was closed up, I believe, for 2 years. John Foreman played a big role in pushing Steve Bruner, who is the actual owner of the card shop of Hallmark, to reopen and reestablish a card shop here.
Now, when we talk about Hallmark, of course, that's just a famous name when it comes to greeting cards and everything else. Hallmark, when you put a store in, you said that the Bruners have 7 or 8 stores around Ohio, but this is a little separate, correct?
Yes. Steve Bruner and his cousin John, their dad started Bruner News Agency in Lima. They own a book and magazine distribution center. They also started the Readmore's Hallmark chain. The closest one to us is Piqua. They have 2 in Lima, Findlay, Delphus, and St. Mary's.
Oh, okay. And so now this is separate. So we're going to talk a little bit later on. Kirsten and her husband also own the store beside it, but you're the manager here, the owner there, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Well, let's talk a little bit. How often now? I know that this is being filmed on February 16th, so Valentine's Day's over, so that's all been wiped out. What's next on the list? I mean, you have things year-round, of course, but then you have those special times a year that you really have to stock for. So what's coming up?
We are one big holiday up here. It seems like we're constantly rolling. Our next holiday, St. Patty's Day, then we jump into Easter, Mother's Day, graduations. It's a nonstop holiday up here.
Now, does Hallmark, are they the ones that determine what you stock, or are you the one that makes that decision on, or are they just bring in, here's our Valentine's lineup for this year? How they do that?
Hallmark we do have specific product we need to carry due to the franchise rules and stuff like that. But we have several lines that we order ourselves. Kim Michael, who is kind of like a district type manager is what I call her, she does a lot of ordering for us too. So it's kind of a mixture of...
Okay. Well, I'm looking around here because, you've got candy. Then I'm looking at all this Vera Bradley stuff. I think that's things that women buy. I think I remember that from my wife and my daughters. And then you've got just all sorts of stuff that really probably isn't part of the Hallmark line.
That is correct. A big part of it, if you check our cards, we have specific gift lines. But then we do carry Vera Bradley, Life is Good. We have a huge Ohio State section, which is very popular with the guys that shop. So
yeah, I noticed there's not a lot of Michigan stuff back there. There's a little bit, but not much.
You kind of keep that contained.
How many employees do you have here? I mean, and that probably varies by season, correct?
We have 7, and generally that's what we run with most of the time. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought you might have more like for Valentine's or Christmas or something like that.
No, my staff, I have a fantastic staff right now. We have my oldest son works for me up to, I think, I have a lady who works at the fairgrounds for me part-time, several retired women, college girls. So we have a wide range of people that work up here.
Now, being in a downtown location, what was the reasoning behind Bruner's putting it here in downtown Greenville? Because, we've got a great downtown area. We're really trying to promote it and so forth. But then you also have that competition with some of the strip malls and areas out north. What made him decide to locate downtown? You have any idea?
John Foreman. He pushed so much for Steve to bring a Hallmark back downtown. And then when Steve toured downtown, he fell in love with the whole concept of what we have down here.
Okay. Now, what's your background that made you come in here 10 years ago? You must have started right out of high school then, basically, right?
I wish. Thank you. No, I worked at the KitchenAid Experience for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
I had been given word that they were looking for a manager, applied for the job, and got it. I stayed home with our kids for several years. Mm-hmm. Stay-at-home mom, worked part-time, and then I was ready to, both the boys were in school, go back to work full-time, and I love it. It's great.
You see quite a bit of walk-in, well, of course, you walk-in business down here. The downtown area, have you noticed over the years then that things are picking up? You're profitable here. You wouldn't be here.
Considerably, especially since the First Friday events have started. Yes. It's amazing, the change in the last 10 years, what we've started with to what we're at now.
Okay. Well, this is over, of course, the Hallmark store. And then let's talk just a little bit, and then we're going to move our camera here. There's an opening from the Hallmark store over to Sadie Grace. How did that all come about?
That came about when my husband and I decided to open Sadie Grace. We had looked at several properties downtown. We looked at the Bonfiglio building, and we were able to purchase that building. My husband and Steve came up with the idea of putting the hole into the wall so that I could do both jobs. I can keep an eye on Hallmark when I'm working Sadie Grace and vice versa.
So what was the inspiration behind Sadie Grace? And I know where the name comes from. We're going to explain that in a little bit. But what was the inspiration? What made you think this is the kind of store that you wanted to run or own and then tie it in with Hallmark?
I originally wanted to open my own beauty salon when I was in high school. That was my big thing. I wanted to go to cosmetology school, but life got in the way. We had our 2 boys. Running Hallmark and being downtown, I saw the need for another boutique. We have Uniques, who's been established for years, and they're such an inspiration, those 2 ladies over there that run that. And I felt that we need something for a little bit younger crowd. So that's kind of where we came up with it, and supportive husband who went along with the idea. So
well, it's good to have that supportive spouse, isn't it? Okay, Sadie Grace. Let's talk about where the name came from.
That's been a fun little adventure. We get so many people with their myths, but it's actually my niece, Sadie, my sister's little girl. We were throwing around names, and hers came out, and my boys were just obviously not wanting their names on a girly boutique. So we went with her name. I mean, she's adorable. So the name's cute and it's different. So
I knew this because, okay, if I gotta get this straight out there. Okay, my wife's cousin is Sadie Grace's grandfather, correct?
Correct.
Did I say that right?
I believe
and so Sadie Grace is a cute little kid, and the name just applied perfectly to what you have over here.
Definitely. And she comes in. She doesn't quite get the concept yet. She's only 3, but I think when she gets older, she'll be a shoe-in for a job. So
well, we're going to take the camera here from the Wave Channel 5, and Nick and I are going to pack up and walk through the hole in the wall, and we'll go over to the Sadie Grace side. We'll talk a little bit about what all you have to offer there. You're watching downtown Greenville, Main Street Greenville, I should say, here on the Wave Channel 5. We'll be back in just a moment.